What's up, my guys? Welcome back to the Wrestling Report Card, and man, do we have a crazy episode of AEW Dynamite to break down. Hey, not only do we start the night with a hair versus hair match where the loser has to shave their head bald on live TV, and yes, it did happen, but we had not one, not two, but three of New Japan's top stars show up on AEW tonight in Tanahashi, Switchblade Jay White, and Will Ospreay. The latter of the three, and Ospreay, had a banger match, his first ever on AEW, against my guy Dax Harwood from FTR. And then at the end of the night, after our ladder match for the tag team titles, we get a huge heel turn, long coming may I add, from a guy that a lot of y'all who don't watch AEW may remember from the Attitude Era. But we'll get more into that later. Not only did a lot happen during this episode, well, we need to focus on what didn't happen during the episode. That's right. For the second straight week, nobody has seen nor heard from MJF, okay? That's something to keep an eye on, because after that last promo he cut on Tony Khan, I don't think anybody knows what's happening. The only thing I've heard of MJF is that at the airport, he denied the host of the Wendy Williams show's son an autograph, and she got super mad and was talking about that today on his show. So even though my guy's not on AEW, he's still working or shooting people, whatever y'all want to call it, in real life. So you gotta love the guy for keeping kayfabe alive. But hey, without further ado, y'all see there's a lot going on. So buckle up your seatbelts and let's get to great. In our opening act, you got the hair versus hair match. You got Chris Jericho taking on his former Inner Circle compadre, Ortiz. And I tell you what, Chris Jericho came right out of the gates and goes for the win immediately as he tried to hit his lion saw, but Ortiz was ready for it. Now this allows Ortiz to get the early upper hand, but that doesn't last long as Jericho sent him flying into the barricade right before we went to the commercial. Now we get back from the break and Jericho is just slapping Ortiz in the face, but all that did was anger my guy, as he not only hit a cutter and a DDT, but countered the walls of Jericho as well, almost pinning Y2J. He gets a little too zealous, however, as he climbs to the top rope and misses on a crossbody. Chris Jericho, being the sly veteran that he is, capitalizes quickly with the codebreaker, followed of course by the walls of Jericho. So he finally makes it to the ropes. Now, remember, neither one of these guys came to this matchup alone, as they both brought their teams with them. So outside of the ring, right as this happens, both teams just start brawling. And while the ref was distracted, Eddie Kingston sneaks in and hits Chris Jericho with the spinning back fist. Ortiz does the right thing, goes for the cover, but Jericho was able to kick out. Then, out of nowhere, Fuego del Sol sneaks into the ring during all the commotion, and just as it looks like he's going to go lay out Chris Jericho, he does the unthinkable and lays out Ortiz. This, of course, allows Jericho to make the cover and get the 1-2-3. Now, Ortiz is a man of his word because he got up, grabbed the clippers, and shaved his head right there on stage. Come to find out, that wasn't even Fuego del Sol at all. When he took the mask off, by God, it was that son of a bitch, Sammy Guevara. Hey, I'm not gonna lie though, I knew it was Sammy the whole time. But if I'm gonna sit there and grade that opening act, I'm gonna give it a C+. Like, of course, that wasn't the best match I've ever saw in my life, but you can't tell me that wasn't an entertaining way to start Dynamite. So we get done with that, and then we go into our next match where it's 1 versus 20. Yes, you heard me right, 1 versus 20, as Warlow is taking on 20 of Smart Mark Sterling security guards. Now to win this match, Warlow has to eliminate all 20 of these son bitches. This was basically an excuse for this man to go on a rampage. I mean, Warlow beat down so many guys, Amber Heard is now in line to be his new sponsor. After laying waste to all of them, he finally gets his hands on Smart Mark, but Dan Lambert, he sends UFC legends Matt Hughes and Tyron Woodley to take care of Warlow. Now these two in turn make a smart move as they just saw this man annihilate 20 grown-ass men, and instead feed Warlow the man who is responsible of all of this, Smart Mark Sterling, who got his goof-ass power bombs. So for that, I'm going to give it a B-. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say this was like a technical masterpiece or a 5-star match that a lot of y'all be talking about. All I'm saying is until you put Wardlow in a title picture, let that big old son bitch run wild and do things like whooping 20 men at once. That's only going to up his stock. Now, it does look like we're moving into Wardlow versus Scorpio Sky for that TNT title. So, hey, I ain't mad about that. Moving on. For the first time ever in AEW history. You get Will Ospreay in action. That's right. He's taking on my guy Dax Harwood from FTR. If you don't know who either of these guys are, just know one thing. Both of these two can flat out go. Now, as this match is AEW versus New Japan, Harwood comes out of the gate strong, repping for AEW. He connects on a couple of gnarly suplexes, but he slipped up by going to the top rope, which he never does. And boy, I tell you what, Ospreay made him pay for it. Then, after that, we get into some great counter wrestling between the two. I'm talking, you got move after move after counter after counter after counter. And boy, is business picking up. You got Ospreay with a powerbomb. Ospreay again with a flying elbow. Harwood answers with a slingshot powerbomb. Harwood again with a big lariat. Then Ospreay, he connects on his patented Liger bomb. Harwood kicks out, but all that it did was allow Ospreay to lower the sleeve on his elbow and then land that flying elbow on the back of Harwood's neck to get the 1-2-3 for the win. Afterwards, Ospreay's group, the United Empire, then put the beat down on the both FTR members. When, of all people, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy returns to make the save. We even got a nice little stare down between Cassidy and Ospreay, which I never knew I needed in my life, but hey, I ain't mad I got it. And it does look like at Forbidden Door, we are going to get one-on-one Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. For that, I'm going with an A-. Like, not only was that match great, but I thought Orange Cassidy's return was dope as well, and I'm really looking forward to that match at Forbidden Door. Moving from one New Japan star onto the next, we then get into our Ace Tanahashi and Jon Moxley segment. Now, as some of y'all know, these two will be fighting at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view for the interim AEW championship. Now, Jon Moxley claims that my guy Ace has been ducking and dodging him for the past 3 years. Moxley then goes on to tell him that after the dust settles at Forbidden Door, Tanahashi will be calling Moxley Ace. And one thing to know is that them Japan cats do not take kindly to that disrespect, okay? And this was going oh so well until that rat-faced bastard Chris Jericho decided he wanted to stick his nose in their business. He talks some crap and then announces that he will be in a trios tag match at Forbidden Door. He then sicks his boys onto the two challengers, but before they could even get there, Lance Archer and Desperado from New Japan attack the two challengers from behind. We then get a 7-on-2 beatdown before Eddie Kingston and freshly shaved Ortiz come in to make the save. Now, after Ace and Moxley clear the ring of all those cats, we then get a little stare down between the two, and boy, I tell you what, this is going to be a slobber knocker at Forbidden Door. After all that, I'm going to go with a B-. Honestly, it would have probably gotten a higher grade had Chris Jericho not ran out, but hey, at least we're getting a badass trios tag team match out of it, so we can't be too mad. So we get done with that segment, and then we go into our next match. You've got my guy Miro taking on Ethan Page. And now, as some of y'all know, the winner of this match will advance to the Fatal 4-Way for that brand new All-Atlantic Championship title. Now, Ethan Page does a great job early on focusing on that left arm of Miro. Now, when we get back from the commercial break, you got Page flying from the top rope, landing one of those shoulder tackles, and then he follows that up by hitting his cutter off the ropes. He gets a little bit of momentum going. Ethan Page, however, got a little bit too comfortable talking that smack to Miro, because my guy is not the one. He got a hold of him and launched that boy into the ozone layer. Dan Lambert then graces our TV screens yet again as he tries to distract Miro, who responds by literally knocking his old ass out. He turns around and lands his super kick onto Ethan Page before applying his submission to get the win and advance in the tournament. I'm going to slap a C+ onto that one. My only complaint really is that a lot of the action took place during the commercial break. But hey, it was short, sweet, and it did what it needed to do by giving Miro the win. So I'm not too mad at it. Moving on, we go into our women's match where you got two top 5 contenders taking on each other. That's right. You got Toni Storm taking on Britt Baker. And you know Britt Baker didn't come alone as she brought her cronies with her. And they tried to get involved early on. But when they did that, the AEW Women's Champ, Thunder Rosa, runs down to even the odds. Toni Storm takes advantage of that and she starts to get back into it as she hit a tornado DDT onto the floor, followed by a German suplex. Toni Storm then connected on one of the nastiest hip attacks that I have ever seen. I mean, it had Britt in the corner for a minute. Like, she was down for a minute, but turns out she was just playing possum as she went for a quick little roll-up and she almost got it. Afterwards, after she had Toni down, she went for the lockjaw finisher, but Toni Storm was able to counter, and then she hit her with her spike pile driver onto Britt Baker to get the 1, 2, 3. That's right. She got the win. Hey, if I'm going to sit there and grade that, I'm going to give it a B-. Like, that was a very physical match between these two ladies. They really put on a show again. My only complaint, yet again, is that most of the action did take place during the commercial break. Next up, you got our final New Japan segment. So Hangman Page, he comes down to the ring letting us know that he still wants the IWGP title and he wants Okada. But the only thing is that Okada lost his title over the weekend to Jay White. Hangman reiterates that he still wants both Okada and the title at Forbidden Door before Adam Cole comes out. But Mr. Cole was only a distraction as his buddy Jay White snuck up behind Hangman and laid him out. He then added insult to injury by not only reminding Hangman that he lost to CM Punk for the AEW title, but that he is 0-2 against the Switchblade. He goes on to say that neither Adam Page nor his buddy Adam Cole is getting a shot at this title. Obviously, Adam Cole was very taken aback by this as he thought his buddy was going to give him a title shot. I love that this is leaving us on a cliff note, and hopefully we get Bullet Club versus the Undisputed Elite at Forbidden Door. Now, if I'm going to sit there and grade that, I'm going to give it a B+. I really want to see where this goes, but it's time for the main event, as you got the Young Bucks taking on the AEW Tag Team Champs, Jurassic Express, for those tag team titles in a ladder match. Now, as some of y'all know, on a more serious note, the Hardy Boys were supposed to be in this match, but unfortunately, Jeff Hardy got yet another DUI. Now, I'm not going to judge another man for his mistakes, but I will say, Jeff Hardy, I think I speak for us all when I say you were an inspiration to a lot of us in the Attitude Era, and it hurts us to see our hero, our icon, going through these demons. Just know, you are not alone, brother, and we love you, man. Get better. Now, on to the match. Nick Jackson and Jungle Boy started off by playing a high-stakes game of The Floor is Lava as they were flipping from the ropes to the ladder back to the ropes. I tell you what, these sumbitches were a-flying. Matt Jackson then hit Jungle Boy with 3 consecutive Northern Lights suplex, the third one sending him onto a ladder. Him and Matt Jackson then both got put through tables before Nick Jackson laid Luchasaurus out on a table on the floor, climbed onto the top rope, and hit a 450 splash onto Luch, crashing him through that table, just disintegrating it. All of this happens before the commercial break. Boy, I tell you what, I'm out of breath. So we come back, and the Bucks have literally built the Eiffel table outside of the ring as they got 4 of them bitches stacked up. Luchasaurus then starts going off as he hits back-to-back choke slams, followed by a moonsault onto the floor. With the titles hanging overhead, Jurassic Express then sets up 2 giant ladders right underneath them. Then boom, Poison Rana by the Bucks. Elbow drop through the table again. Bucks. Jungle Boy answers with back-to-back suplexes. Luchasaurus then gets to the top of the giant ladder, but the Young Bucks were in the right place, right time, as they shoved the ladder over, sending the giant lizard man crashing through the Eiffel table outside of the ring. They then hit the BTE trigger onto Jungle Boy before climbing the ladder and of course grabbing the titles to win their second AEW Tag Team Championship. But then, after the match, things got interesting as we finally got the Christian heel turn. As he got Jungle Boy in the ring, he started to beat him down, and then he gave him his patented concerto. Flat out, that's getting an A. I mean, what do y'all want me to say? Like, the match was great, and then we finally got that Christian heel turn that I think we've all been looking for. And we all know that he's going to do a great job as a heel over in AEW. And that's going to lead us to a Jungle Boy Christian feud. Now, my guy Jungle Boy's going to have to get a mouthpiece for himself, because that's all my guy is missing, as he's one of the best in-ring performers out right now. Now, woo! What an episode, my guy. I am sweating. That was a lot to pack in right there. But as y'all know, hey, we got all the grades in. Now let's take a look at the report card. After tallying everything up, we came out with a final letter grade of a B. That's right, an 85%. Hey, once again, thank you to everybody that does tune in. If you haven't subscribed already, please do me a favor and do that. Hey, if not, I guess I still like you. Hey, once again, shout out to my guy, Bobby Knifehawk, aka Bust Down Bobbiana for the beat, man. Go check him out on his socials. Other than that, man, I hope everybody stays safe and have a nice day.